Okay, let's jump right into this. There's that great quote from Lewis Carroll that it perfectly sums up the challenge for any growing organization.
If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Exactly. And when we talk about leadership development, it feels like most companies are just driving without a map.
Hmm.
They're relying on luck, not strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Our deep dive today is built around this fantastic new article from Phoenix Performance Partners. It's called The Architecture of Intentional Leadership Development.
And it's such an essential read because it gets right to the heart of the problem. I mean, if you, listening right now, walked up to an executive and asked, what is your organization's leadership development philosophy?
Well, you know what you're going to get.
You are almost guaranteed to get one of three non-answers.
The first one is the blank stare,
Oh.
which honestly is probably the most truthful answer you could get.
Right, or they'll pivot. They immediately start describing their programs.
Yeah, they'll say, oh, we sent all our managers to a 3-day workshop.
Exactly. We do a delegation course in September. Or, and this is the worst one, you get the generic platitude.
We believe in developing our people.
Ugh, yes. Which means absolutely nothing.
And none of those things are a philosophy. They're tactics. They're, at best, vague intentions. But they don't articulate the underlying beliefs, the principles that actually guide how you grow leaders.
And that right there is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack the difference between what we'll call accidental development, just reacting to crises, copying a competitor, and intentional development.
And that intentionality, it comes from having a clear, articulated philosophy. So let's get into the architecture of that foundation. Okay, so let's unpack that. What does it actually look like on the ground when you don't have this philosophy?
Well, it's a collection of reactive tactics. It's chaos.
We could call it firefighting development.
That's a great way to put it. That's the trap of accidental development. You're constantly just responding to symptoms, instead of looking at the root cause. A star manager leaves. Quick, let's hire a consultant.
Right. Or sales are down, so suddenly everyone has to go to a negotiations workshop.
And a lot of the time, it's driven by what your competitors are doing. You see, they launch some flashy new program, it gets some press, and you rush to copy it.
Without even asking if it's a good fit for your own culture.
Never. And this fragmentation, it causes real pain for everyone. The first big one is just mixed messages.
This is the classic cognitive dissonance problem, right?
Precisely. Let's say one training course is all about servant leadership. The manager's there to support the team, remove obstacles, sounds great.
Okay, yeah.
But then the next quarter, a new performance system rolls out that is purely about hitting targets. And it's ruthless. Miss a target, you're penalized, no excuses.
So the employee is left completely stuck.
Mhm.
They're thinking, so what do you actually want? The empathetic servant leader or the person who hits the number no matter what?
You've taught them two completely contradictory things, and that just erodes trust.
Okay, so mixed messages number one. What's next?
The second consequence is just random investments. Money gets spent because a program sounds cool, or an executive saw a keynote speaker they liked at a conference.
We have all seen this happen. You spend $50,000 on a charisma coach for the C-suite.
Right.
But the actual problem is that your mid-level managers aren't empowered to make a single decision. You're fixing the wrong thing because there's no North Star.
Absolutely. And third, and this is so painful if you're trying to build a career, is that there's no through line.
Meaning nothing connects to anything else.
Nothing. The activities don't build on each other. So an emerging leader takes a course on conflict resolution, then 6 months later, one on presentation skills. They have these random skills, but there's no clear path. From, say, team lead to director to executive, it's a maze with no exit.
And that leads to the biggest, most damaging one of all, which has to be culture misalignment.
This is the killer, because you can teach collaboration in a classroom all day long.
But if you only reward the individual hero who elbows everyone else out of the way to get the win,
then you've just wasted everyone's time and money. People learn from what gets rewarded, not from what's on a PowerPoint slide.
so if all those fragmented tactics are the problem, how does having a philosophy actually fix it? This is where it gets really interesting.
The key is to stop thinking about the program. The philosophy isn't the program. It's
Yeah.
the non-negotiable foundation that informs every single decision you make about people.
So we need to define it. A leadership development philosophy is a clear set of beliefs and principles that guides how your organization grows leaders.
And it has to be specific. It can't be generic. It has to answer some really pointed questions for your organization. Like, what does leadership actually mean here in our specific context?
It's not enough to just say leadership is influence.
No. If you're a heavy manufacturing company, leadership might mean something about process discipline and safety. If you're a tech startup, it's probably about rapid experimentation and managing ambiguity. They're totally different.
And the philosophy also has to get at what you believe about how people even develop in the first place.
Yes. Do you believe people grow by sitting in a classroom? Or do they grow by being thrown into a challenge, a stretch assignment, with great coaching? Your answer to that question changes everything about how you design your programs.
And then there's the responsibility piece. The philosophy has to clarify what the organization's role is and what the individual's role is.
If you don't define both sides of that equation, you're setting everyone up to fail.
The analogy in the article is perfect. The philosophy is the concrete foundation. The programs, the coaching, the workshops, that's the structure you build on top. And if that foundation is weak, or you skip it altogether, the whole house just collapses under the first bit of pressure. Okay, so to build that foundation, the article lays out 5 essential elements. This is the architecture you can actually use.
Let's run through them.
Yeah.
The first one is definition. What does leadership mean here? And we can't say it enough. Be specific. You have to be able to finish the sentence. In our organization, leadership means.
I think the power in that is it just kills ambiguity.
Yeah.
In hiring, in promotions, you stop promoting people just because they're great at the technical part of their job.
Exactly. You start promoting them because they embody the kind of leadership you've defined. It creates the benchmark.
Okay, so that's element 1.
Element 2 is core beliefs. How do people actually develop? This part dictates your whole methodology. If you believe development comes from challenge, you have to design assignments with real stakes, but also real support.
So your beliefs become the filter. It stops you from just buying some off-the-shelf training program that might completely contradict how you think people grow.
You've got it. Element 3 is organizational commitment. This is our role, and this is where the vague stuff has to die.
We support development.
Means nothing. A real commitment is specific. It sounds like we commit to providing every manager with quarterly coaching and at least 1 stretch assignment per year.
That's measurable. I like that.
Yeah.
So what's the other side of the coin?
Element 4, individual accountability, their role. The tension here is that accountability is only fair if the commitment is actually delivered first.
Right.
The organization provides the structure, the coaching, the resources. The individual then has to choose to own it. They have to seek feedback, be vulnerable, chase learning. But you can't hold them accountable for not growing if you never gave them the soil to grow in.
It's a contract. That makes sense. And the last one.
Element 5 is culture alignment. This is the connection to who you are as a company.
So your development philosophy has to match your values. If you value innovation, you need to encourage experimentation and learning from failure.
Right, and it's not just about the culture you have, it's about the culture you want. You have to align with your aspirational state. If your culture is currently risk-averse, your philosophy needs to push against that. It should say something like, we develop leaders by celebrating intelligent risks.
So you're aligning with the future, not just reinforcing the past.
That's where the real power is.
Okay, let's put all 5 of these elements together. The article gives a great example of what this sounds like when it's fully articulated.
So imagine a company. Their definition is, leadership here means influence at every level. And if you're a manager, your job is to develop other people, period.
Simple, I like it.
Their core beliefs are, people develop through experience, reflection, and relationships. And challenge speeds up growth, but only when you pair it with high support.
So their commitment, logically, would be something like,
We provide high-quality coaching, we provide mentoring, we create developmental assignments with clear metrics, and we create psychological safety so it's okay to fail and learn.
and the final piece, the connection to culture. We do this collaboratively, with high standards and high support, focused on our purpose, not on politics.
And that clarity is the so what. That is the huge payoff, because suddenly development stops being some siloed HR thing.
And it becomes an integrated part of the culture that everybody's involved in.
Everyone. And the benefits just ripple out. For individuals, they know exactly what's expected. They stop guessing what it takes to get promoted.
For managers, they finally know what they're supposed to be developing people toward. They can have focused, meaningful conversations about growth.
And for executives, they stop wasting money. Their investments are strategic, their promotions are aligned. And for HR, they can finally design things that actually reinforce the culture instead of contradicting it.
It turns development from a line item, a cost center, into a genuine strategic lever for growth. So let's wrap up here with a really clear goal. Stop developing leaders by accident.
Start developing them with intention by building this architecture.
And this isn't just a theoretical exercise. We want to leave you with the Try This Today challenge from the source, something you could do right now.
Block out 30 minutes on your calendar, just 30 minutes, and start the first draft of your philosophy, even if it's just for your own team.
And write down the answers to those 5 prompts. 1. In our organization, leadership means.
2. We believe people develop as leaders by.
3. As an organization, we commit to.
4. We expect individuals to.
And finally, 5. This approach reflects our culture
This
because
first draft is going to be messy. That's fine. The goal isn't perfection. It's just articulation.
the moment you write it down and share it, you create accountability.
Yeah.
You start that shift from random programs to a real integrated culture of intentional growth.
If you're relying on luck to build your next generation of leaders, well, any road will take you there.
But if you rely on architecture, you can build exactly what you need.